Focus on yourself. That's the line nobody wants to hear because it sounds selfish. But let me tell you this, being selfish about your growth is the most selfless thing you can ever do. Too many people waste their energy trying to fix everyone else's problems, trying to prove something to people who don't even care. Meanwhile, their own life is falling apart. Stop pouring from an empty cup. Stop setting yourself on fire to keep other people warm. Focus on yourself, because if you don't, nobody else will. When you focus on yourself, you start to realize your time is not unlimited. Every second you waste comparing yourself, doubting yourself, chasing approval, you're digging a grave for your own potential. People will laugh at you when you say no. People will call you arrogant when you chase your dream. People will label you selfish when you choose discipline over distraction. But remember this, they don't pay your bills, they don't fight your battles, and they don't live your life. You want to change, then cut the noise, shut out the world. Look in the mirror, ask yourself, what am I doing today to make my tomorrow unrecognizable? That's focus. Focus isn't scrolling social media for hours pretending it's research. Focus isn't pleasing your friends by wasting nights you should be building. Focus is sacrifice. Focus is discipline. Focus is saying no to everything that pulls you away from your future. And let me be real with you. The reason most people never win is because they're addicted to approval. They want applause before they even take the first step. They want validation before they do the work. You've got to get comfortable being alone. You've got to get comfortable being misunderstood. Because when you lock in on your mission, you're not going to fit in. And that's exactly the point. One day, the same people who doubted you will look at you and say, you changed. Damn right you changed. You focused. You cut off what was killing you. You stopped chasing them and started chasing the best version of yourself. That's when you'll realize focusing on yourself wasn't selfish at all. It was survival. So here's the truth. Focus on yourself or watch your life become background noise in someone else's story. Stop pouring from an empty cup. You know exactly what that means, but most of us live every single day breaking that rule. Think about it. How many times have you been exhausted, drained, mentally beaten, but you still showed up for people who wouldn't even cross the street for you? You give your energy to everyone, your friends, your coworkers, your family, and at the end of the day, you're left with nothing for yourself. You're empty. And when you're empty, you can't give. When you're tired, your advice is weak. When you're broken, your love feels heavy. When you're drained, your help becomes half-hearted. You're trying to be a hero, but you're bleeding out while you carry everyone else on your back. Look at daily life. Someone calls you late at night, and you answer, even though you've got to wake up at 6 a.m. for work. Someone asks for money, and you hand it over, even though your bills are stacked on the table. Someone asks for your time, and you cancel your own plans, again, just to make them happy. But deep inside, you're suffocating. That's the problem. You're teaching people that your time, your energy, your peace doesn't matter. And the more you give, the more they'll take, because takers don't have limits. They'll drink from your cup until there's nothing left but dust. You've got to wake up and realize you can't save anyone if you're drowning yourself. Picture this, you're on a plane, the oxygen mask drops down, and what do they tell you? Put yours on first before helping others. Why? Because if you pass out, you're no good to anyone. Yet in life, we forget this simple truth. We put the mask on everyone else and then wonder why we can't breathe. People think saying no is selfish, but let me tell you, saying yes all the time is destroying you. You can't grind for your dream if you're too busy solving everyone else's problems. You can't build your future if you're stuck patching holes in ships that were already sinking before you got there. Your first responsibility is to protect your own energy, your own health, your own focus, because only when your cup is full, overflowing even, can you give to others without losing yourself. Cut the noise. That's the battlefield most people lose on, not because they're weak, but because they're surrounded by too much distraction. You want to focus? Then you've got to be ruthless about the noise around you. Every ding of a notification, every pointless conversation, every drama that has nothing to do with your life. It's stealing minutes, hours, years. And the dangerous part, it feels small. It feels harmless. 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. But add it up, and suddenly your dream is still on paper while your time got robbed in the background. Think about it. You sit down to work on something important, your phone lights up, and just like that, your brain is gone. You're scrolling, you're liking, you're watching, and by the time you look up, half an hour has disappeared. That's noise. Or you're grinding on your future, but somebody calls you to gossip, to complain, to talk about what somebody else did. You hang up the phone and your energy is gone. Your focus is broken. That's noise. You're trying to discipline yourself, but your circle keeps inviting you to waste time, to go out, to do nothing productive, and you go anyway because you don't want to seem boring. That's noise. Noise is not just sound, it's everything that keeps your mind from being locked in on what matters. Noise is that inner voice that whispers doubt, telling you you're not good enough, telling you it's safer to stay average. Noise is every distraction dressed up as entertainment, every cheap dopamine hit that tricks you into thinking you're living when really you're stalling. You've got to learn how to silence it. Turn off the phone if you have to. Walk away from people who only bring drama. Shut down the excuses playing in your head. When you're chasing something big, every ounce of your attention matters. And make no mistake, distractions are not accidents, they're traps. They're designed to keep you from breaking free, because the world rewards those who are entertained, not those who are disciplined. The difference between winners and everyone else is not talent, it's focus. The winners cut the noise. They don't let the world dictate their attention. They protect it like it's gold, because it is. Every time you give in to distraction, you trade a piece of your future for a moment of nothing. Get comfortable being alone. That's where the real battle begins. Most people can't stand silence. They can't stand their own company. So they keep running to crowds, to parties, to noise, because the moment it gets quiet, the truth starts to echo. And the truth is this: growth doesn't happen when you're surrounded by distractions, validation, and applause. Growth happens in those lonely hours when nobody is clapping, nobody is watching, and nobody is telling you you're doing good. That's when you find out what you're really made of. Think about the gym. You don't get stronger by showing off with your friends around. You get stronger by pushing that last rep when nobody's watching, when your muscles are burning, and your body is screaming for you to quit. That's isolation. That's where growth lives. Or take a student preparing for exams. The real progress doesn't happen in the classroom noise. It happens at 2 a.m. alone with the books, grinding while the world is sleeping. Alone is where winners are built. But here's the problem. Most people are addicted to company. They can't sit in silence without checking their phone. They can't work on their dream without someone to tell them, good job. They can't say no to the party, no to the weekend plans, no to the constant chatter, because being alone feels like being left out. But understand this: being alone is not being left behind. It's moving ahead while the crowd stands still. You've got to rewire your mind. Alone time is not punishment, it's preparation. Those nights you spend studying your craft, those mornings you wake up early to train, those weekends you skip the fun to build, that's not loneliness, that's investment. That's the separation season where champions are born. The crowd can make you feel comfortable, but comfort doesn't change you. Isolation feels uncomfortable, but that's exactly why it transforms you. You start to hear your own voice instead of everyone else's. You start to discover who you really are when you're not performing for likes, claps, or validation. And when you finally step back into the world after grinding in silence, people will look at you like you came out of nowhere, when in reality, you were just locked in alone, building what they couldn't see. Sacrifice is the price of focus. Everybody wants the reward, but nobody wants the bill. And the bill is heavy. It costs your comfort, your sleep, your nights out, your temporary pleasures. Discipline is not glamorous. It's not flashy. It's not something you post online for likes. Discipline is ugly, it's lonely, it's boring, but it's the only road that leads to progress. You have to understand, every yes to comfort is a no to your future, and every no to comfort is a yes to progress. Look at the athlete who wakes up at 4 a.m. to train while the rest of the world is sleeping. He's sacrificing his bed, his comfort, his warm blanket. Look at the entrepreneur who stays locked in on their idea, eating simple meals, wearing the same clothes, while their friends are partying and spending. They're sacrificing luxury today to build freedom tomorrow. Look at the student who says no to hanging out, no to wasting time, and yes to hours of study and preparation. That's sacrifice. People see the trophy, the business, the success, but they don't see the price tag that was paid behind closed doors. You can't have both comfort and growth. One will always cancel the other. Comfort feels good right now. Progress feels good for life. Comfort is temporary pleasure. Progress is permanent power. The world tries to sell you shortcuts, hacks, easy ways out. But all of that is noise. The truth is simply, if you want something extraordinary, you're going to have to give up what's ordinary. You're going to have to sacrifice weekends, distractions, sometimes even relationships that slow you down. Sacrifice hurts, but it's supposed to. That pain is proof you're on the right path. Think about it. If you're not giving up something, you're not really focused. Progress demands a trade. If you want strength, you sacrifice comfort in the gym. If you want knowledge, you sacrifice hours of entertainment for books. If you want wealth, you sacrifice instant gratification for long-term discipline. Every great story you've ever admired is written with ink made of sacrifice. People want to shine, but they don't want to sweat. They want the success, but they don't want the scars. But the truth is, the scars are the proof that you paid the price. Discipline is not about what you gain first. It's about what you're willing to lose right now, so you can earn what's waiting for you later. Focus creates transformation. When you truly lock in, something inside you shifts, and the world can't help but notice. People will look at you and wonder, what happened? When did you change? But the truth is, you didn't just change overnight. You decided to stop scattering your energy everywhere and direct it like a laser. That's the power of focus. When you lock in, your habits change, your mindset changes, and slowly, your entire life begins to take a new shape. Think about a magnifying glass. If you hold it under the sun, it can turn sunlight into fire. Why? Because it takes scattered light and concentrates it in one direction. That's exactly what happens when you focus. The same hours everyone else wastes, you pour into your craft. The same energy people spend gossiping or scrolling, you invest in building. And before long, the results are undeniable. People see the version of you that discipline created, not the one distractions left behind. Look at daily life examples. A student who decides to block out everything and study intensely can transform from failing grades to top of the class. A person who focuses on their health, who cuts out junk food, who trains every day, can transform their body from weak to strong. An entrepreneur who locks in on their vision, ignoring doubters and noise, can transform an idea into a business that changes lives. That's not magic, that's focus. But here's the key. Transformation doesn't ask for approval. It doesn't wait for applause. While you're locked in, people won't understand you. They'll say you've changed. You've become distant. You're acting different. And they're right. Because focus requires you to step away from the crowd. You're no longer living on autopilot. You're intentional, deliberate, and committed. That kind of focus intimidates people because it forces them to see what they're not willing to do themselves. Focus creates a before and after in your life. The before version of you was distracted, chasing everything but catching nothing. After version of you is sharp, disciplined, unshakable. The before you was seeking approval. The after you doesn't need it because results speak louder than opinions. People might not like the new version of you, but they won't be able to ignore it. Transformation is the loudest statement you'll ever make. So here's the truth. Everything we've talked about comes down to one decision. Are you going to let life happen to you? Or are you going to take control and make life happen for you? Because nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to hand you the dream. Nobody's coming to push you out of bed at 5 a.m. Nobody's coming to turn off your phone. Nobody's coming to cut off the people holding you back. That's on you. You are the driver, not the passenger. And until you take that wheel, you'll keep watching others pass you by. You've got to understand your focus is your weapon. Your discipline is your shield. Your sacrifice is your foundation. And when you lock in, when you commit, when you refuse to bend for distractions, you become unstoppable. People will call you obsessed, let them. People will say you've changed. Good, that's the point. People will doubt you, laugh at you, walk away from you, let them. Because while they're talking, you're building. While they're sleeping, you're working. While they're comfortable, you're becoming dangerous. Remember this, ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. Comfort zones don't create champions. Pain, sacrifice, focus, that's where greatness is forged. You've got to be willing to do what others won't today so you can live how others can't tomorrow. Fall down 7 times, get up 8. If you don't fail, you're not even trying. If you don't struggle, you don't grow. Pressure isn't your enemy, it's your training ground. And one day, when you've locked in so hard that nothing can shake you, you'll look back at the version of yourself who almost gave up, and you'll be proud you didn't quit. You'll be proud that you said no when it was easier to say yes. You'll be proud that you focused when the whole world tried to distract you. Because the world doesn't respect excuses. It respects results. So the choice is yours. Keep living average or bet everything on yourself. Cut the noise. Get comfortable being alone. Sacrifice the temporary for the eternal. Focus so fiercely that transformation becomes your only option. And when people look at you in disbelief, when they ask how you did it, you won't even need to answer. Because your life, your results, your transformation will scream the truth louder than words ever could.